So next speaker is Dr. Neeraj Shah, and he'll be speaking on Beyond Ophthalmology, the world out there.
So, good afternoon, everyone. All the speakers before me were very convincing and engaging, and the topics also are quite interesting. So, I am going to ask you to chuck ophthalmology and think beyond that as well. The picture that you see in the background is actually a picture that was shot by me in a very, very early morning flight just around sunrise. So I was just lucky enough to, open my eyes and I just saw that I could click this picture. So, before we start, please all of y'all get your pen and paper out. This is going to be an exercise. Chalega, kuch bhi, anything that you could write on. So, so there are the usual attributes. All of y'all are children to someone, of course. You may be a sibling, you may be a spouse, you may be a parent, and you are, of course, a professional ophthalmologist. Within the ophthalmology sphere, you all might be founder, director, whatever, or, junior consultants, whatever. Apart from that, who are you? So can you convincingly describe an attribute to yourself in a single word? Like, for example, I know Dr. Rakhi here is an excellent dancer. So what would people or what would you describe yourself as apart from the common attributes? Write it down for yourself, don't tell me. It's a secret for you. So the point being that you need to start thinking about yourself beyond these usual common aspects, and that's where we will talk about. So I'm just like what has been going on through millennia, I'm also going to share some commandments, write them down. Networking. So a lot has been said on networking, and networking definitely is very important. What do you mean by networking? So obviously there's no specific definition. It all depends on the objective of what you want to do, and it also depends on the kind of people that you are aiming to network with. For example, networking at an AIOC, your target audience is basically the fellow ophthalmologist, and your aim is to get noticed and perhaps job opportunities, research opportunities, and something like that. So that is what would networking be here. But when we talk, what I also mean by networking is when you should also learn to network outside your ophthalmology community. I'll give you one very interesting anecdote. So let us call this person Dr. K. So this Dr. K had once gone to Germany, and while coming back, a lot of every possible disaster that could happen. Luggage got, lost somewhere, passport messed up, wrong flight, wrong timing, everything. So basically the person was stranded in Germany. Now he had a really, really vast network of people beyond ophthalmology. So he could call up a lot of people, get a lot of stuff done, and subsequently, at least in a matter of 12 hours, with all his things intact, he could fly out of Germany back to India. So that is what is network, which can help you in times of immense crisis. Another exercise. List out at least 5 people who are not your school friends, college friends, work friends, family or relatives, but who you can call upon in times of crisis. Likho. That is exactly what networking means, because these are your default acquaintances, so as to say. But have you all made any new acquaintances? And have you all made acquaintances in a new who are completely outside your line of work? Are they probably they could be in F&B industry, they could be in engineering, they could be in whatever, automobile industry or whatever, So can you list out how many of you all can list at least 3 people? Great. So no, that's what. Yeah, within Ofthal they might count, but yeah. But more important is, see, it's very easy to network within ophthalmology. As of here, all the people here know probably 5 people already. So that would not really count. That is a different kind of networking. You first really need to understand. I'll come to that. So when we talk about networking, so yeah, don't worry. Even when I did this exercise for the first time, I was very depressed. I could write down only 4 people. I was asked to write a list of 10 people. Okay, I went home, I spoke to my wife. I was like, "Arey yaar, I could not write complete the list and all that." So my wife says, "Okay, don't worry, chill, doesn't matter. We know Dr. K. Dr. K has a huge network. So if you don't have a list, at least find out your Dr. K who has a huge network." So this was originally, I had written networking for dummies, but then I thought I'll be, polite and write networking for introverts. So when we are talking about networking, you really need to understand what is the goal. Suppose you go to a random social event, outside ophthalmology, by default consider that. So what you should have some idea of what kind of people you are going to meet. And you should have some idea, you should do some homework in the sense, what would you probably talk to them? The easiest thing to say would be, if you really don't know what to talk, would be just simply go and ask them about their work, what they do. And the conversation just starts proceeding. And it has to be open-ended conversations, you just cannot ask how was the food. They might just say good or bad, that's it. There's nothing to talk beyond that. Okay, so there has to be an open-ended question. And if possible, bring a person who is better at networking than you, or possibly knows that group of people already. When you are interacting with people, try to take a genuine interest in what they are saying, because people do make out whether you are preoccupied or not. Then sometimes it does happen that if you are at an event and you've already said hello to like 10 people, you are already bored, then it's okay, you can just step out of the hall. Like yesterday there was this presidential dinner and I went and met so many people, hello. After a while I got bored, I just went outside to the lobby, saw that ITC hotel, came back inside, fresh round of hellos. So it happens, it's absolutely okay, you can get bored. And networking sometimes can be really boring, sometimes it's embarrassing. It's like a gamble. You lose some, you gain some. In the sense, what do I mean by lose some is sometimes you go and meet people, but it just doesn't stick. You may never develop that acquaintance, and sometimes you end up making a fool out of yourself, but that's absolutely okay. Dr. Nupur was saying, no, that don't take yourself seriously, it doesn't matter. Next point is finance. You need to understand finance, the basic of finance. This picture here, what I intend to say is, one man's rate of interest is another man's rate of return. Please really understand this concept. And this coin, two-faced coin, obviously is standing. This coin is standing on the floor of inflation. Okay, so you really need to understand. Can I take a few more minutes? No. So you really need to understand basics of finance. So before I talk about finance, can someone just tell me, suppose you've invested in a stock market, mutual fund, whatever, and at the end of 1 year, you get 10% gain or return. How much did you really get? Did you really get 10%? Does anyone have a different figure apart from 10%? So, exactly, correct. So there are certain standard formulas, standard concepts that you really need to understand. Rate of real return. So the rate of real return is not exactly 10. Let's assume that 6% is the annual rate of inflation. So if you 10 minus 6 is 4, but it will not really come to 4. Your rate of real return will come to somewhere between 3.8, 3.7. So you really need to understand, especially don't be gullible. Bankers think you doctors are very wealthy people. They'll come, especially in February and March, asking you to invest in schemes. And they'll say at the age of 55, 65, when you're about to retire, we'll give you this much monthly amount. Now that is what is the trick. Don't look at that amount. That amount may be saying that they'll give you 10 lakhs every month. When you are 55, that could possibly be 20 to 30 years down the line. But that is pointless. you really need to understand that what is the rate of return in terms of percentage. And if it comes anywhere around 5, 6, 7%, you are at a loss. That scheme is useless. So you really need to understand what should be your average rate of return that you should be targeting.
Dr. Neeraj, if you can sum it up, please.
Yeah.
We are overshooting.
So, like I was about to say, there are really a lot of things that you can do. The world beyond ophthalmology is far and wide. There are social groups that you could join. These are many things. There are hobbies you can have. These are my bookshelves. Gardening, fiascos sometimes happen. I went for swimming, developed a cuff. I went for badminton, developed a frozen shoulder. I went for volleyball, broke my finger. So these kind of things happen. Sometimes you win as well. And this is a long talk some other day. Thank you. This is just a small trailer of what you could possibly do beyond ophthalmology. And I have tried not to tell you things that are common gyan on Instagram, but what that I am trying to do as well. Thank you.